Alright guys, welcome back again to the channel. So today is the day 2 of the expiration of the deadline given to South Africa by FIFA in terms of them to give a response or a defense concerning the issue on ground brought against them. And I actually expected to see some updates from FIFA yesterday being Sunday, but that didn't happen. Maybe they are not working on weekends, maybe they are not working on Sundays. But again, today is Monday, which is a very, very serious day for work, for every ministry, both in sports and outside of sports. So we've still not seen anything yet as at right now that I'm making this video. I know a lot of people will be saying, forget about this, don't talk about it anymore. We've already talked too much about it. Let's just wait and see. But we have to talk about it because a couple of updates are still happening around this very topic. For example, the NFF's Secretary General, in the person of Dr. Sanusi Mohammed, has come out to talk about what the body, that's the NFF, are doing right now to ensure that they get all hands on deck, or they get everybody serious, all parties serious in terms of the FIFA and every other body that are responsible for making this decision. Give them that little bit of pressing or little bit of push at the back to so that they would come good. Coming good, means that they have to be ethical, they have to be transparent, and they have to make sure that the rule or the punishment that comes to South Africa tallies with the previous punishment that the previous people who broke that rule received. So it will not be like there's now a change of hand when it comes to punishment for the same crime committed. So this is basically what the NFF Secretary General is saying. Is basically just let us know that the NFF are keeping tabs on it, on FIFA, on the whole situation, and just like every one of us, the fans and the people, how we are waiting, they are waiting, but just that they have more clearance to wait, so they are keeping tabs on whatever is happening, and they want to make sure that they remind FIFA that it has to be ethical. Their decision has to be ethical. It has to tally, or it has to match with the punishments that have been given to people who previously offset that rule. And you guys know what this means. If you offset that rule, feeding an ineligible player, previous punishment that we've seen was always point deduction. So this is what the NFF is saying. They are trying to make FIFA accountable in terms of this punishment right now. But at the end of the day, FIFA are still the boss. They would still be the ones to decide what punishment that they have to give to South Africa, and then justify it. Of course, if they give the punishment, they'll have to give a little bit of explanation as to why they decided to give a certain punishment. For example, if it's fining, they might come out to say, okay, after reviewing everything, we found out that South Africa are not liable for point deduction. This is an example I'm giving you. They are not liable for point deduction because Lesotho failed to follow the due process uh, to file the case immediately after it happened. They didn't do that. So for that reason, we don't. So for that reason, South Africa won't receive point deduction. They would instead face some monetary fine. So if FIFA come out and say something like this, obviously you can say whatever you want to say, but at the end of the day, you're just going to rest and accept it like that, because they are the boss. But this is what the NFF is trying to prevent. They are trying to make sure that FIFA also uh, held accountable in terms of making them understand that they have to make the punishment tally with previous punishments that they've given before. But let's move on to other stories as well, and let you guys know that Ademola Lookman, of course, made his debut, very long awaited debut over the weekend. Came into the 9 minute of the match where they were comfortably winning to Reno. Played for 3 minutes, and then the match finished. But right now, it's really important to see what the coach of his side has come out to say about Lookman's appearance for the first time in several months. Of course, his name is Ivan Juric, the coach of the Atlanta side. After the game, he came out to talk a little bit about the case with Lookman, and in his words, he said that Lookman had bad advisors. He had a lot of friends who were wrongly advising him, telling him things that were not good, how to act, how to telling him to boycott the club, telling him to do all the things that he did, which at the end of the day, brought a lot of trouble to him, and his career. But he's saying that Lukman is a very good guy. He spoke with him, had a meeting. He also spoke with the club as a whole when he was being integrated back into the squad. And from everything that Lukman said, that Lukman is a very nice guy, humble guy as well, and he has that mentality to win. He wants to win. He wants to improve, and he loves everything that Lukman represents. Just that the only fault that he saw in the whole case is that Lukman obviously would have had some group of friends who were wrongly advising him and made him to have that issue with the club. But then Evangeline goes on to assure us that Lukman is officially back and he's going to be playing football with the club from now on. The only thing that he wants to do with Lukman is that he wants to work with him, help improve him physically, get him back to shape, and then you know starts grinding out those good performances from him week in, week out. In his own words, he said Lukman has poor advisors. He spoke to me and the team on Monday. He was surrounded by people who had given him some bad advice. He has a great winning mentality, and now we need to get him back in shape physically. So that's the word from the coach himself. But let's move away and talk about Victor Osimhen. Of course, the man is back to training right now with Galatasaray Football Club, and he's looking like he's going to make his comeback next week, Tuesday, which is also the day that they have their Champions League game against Liverpool. A very important clash, you might say, on the 30th of September. And of course, Osimhen is a must show for this game. He has to show up for this match. They actually have a game tonight against Konya Sport around 6 p.m. They probably already started playing the game right now. And I don't think Osimhen is going to make appearance for this game. He might well make an appearance, coming from the bench. But as it stands now in the starting lineup, he's not there yet. The plan for the club is to, bring Osimhen back onto the pitch against Liverpool, which is next week, Tuesday, But we'll see how that goes. It's just good to see the man back and obviously in line to make some appearances. Over the last few hours, he was actually captured, partying with the likes of Evra and Adekunle Gold. It was a very low key party, not much media coverage captured that one, but it was just a way for him to cool off and then come back fresh to training. But those are some of the updates for this minute. Of course, thanks as always for stopping by to watch the videos. Let me know your reaction to any of the stories, and we'll continue to wait for the decision from FIFA on the South Africa issue, which obviously is very important right now for this Group C, for General Raw, for Coach Eric Shaw, for the Zimbabwean contingencies, and then we'll see what happens from there on.